Today we're going to be looking at the techniques called DIV and MOD, which is generic terms for whole into division and returning a remainder in division. These look a little different in Python, and we're going to be looking at examples of how it can be done. So when we hear the word div, this is talking about whole integer division. So if you do a division and it was going to have a remainder, it won't show you the remainder, it's only going to show you the whole number. Mod will only give you the remainder. So it will still do the division and it will calculate it, but then it will only show you the remainder part of it. Let's have a look at it in Python and see why it's useful. So to begin with, in Python, this is what it looks like. Normally we do a division with just one /, but to use div, we're going to use two /. Now 10 divided by 3 would give us 3 remainder 1 usually. But let's run this code and see what happens. So you can see it's only displayed the number 3. It's just completely ignored the remainder. This might be useful if you're calculating time and you want to split it up and you want to say it's this many hours and this many seconds, and you could say this part of it would be the hours section. To use mod in Python, this is where we use a percentage sign to do this. Now I've gone for the same calculation here. We've done 10 mod 3. So like before, we said it's going to be 3 remainder 1. But let's run the code and see what happens. So this time you can see it's just displayed the number 1, which would be the remainder. Like I said earlier, this might be useful if you're trying to split the information up and you only want to display the seconds part of it, which would be the remainder. But we've got a better example about how this could be really useful. So I've got one more piece of code that I'm going to show you and how we can use this to our advantage. And in this case, we've stored in the variable num the integer 8. And we're going to say if the number mod 2 is equal to 0, then it must be even. Otherwise, it's going to display odd. Now what this code is doing, it's going to see that when we divide it by 2, if it's got a remainder or not. If it does have a remainder, then it must be an odd number because it doesn't divide exactly by 2. But if it has no remainder, then it must divide by 2, meaning it's an even number. So let's run this code a couple of times so we can see this in action. So the first time I run my code, you can see it's displayed even. That's because 8 is an even number. So let's change it to 9 and run it again. So you can see this time it's displayed odd, and that's because it had a remainder. It didn't divide by 2 exactly, meaning it was an odd number. And that's it for this one. I'll see you next time.